Hello everyone, welcome to Options with Doug, streaming live daily on Bookmap Discord and the Bookmap YouTube channel at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Before I get started, I need to go through the disclosures. General disclosure, all Bookmap limited materials, information, and presentations are for educational purposes only and should not be considered specific investment advice nor recommendations. Risk disclosure. Trading futures, equities, and options involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. Here's my contact information. The best way to get in touch with me is through Discord. My name on Discord is Doug P. Also in Bookmap Discord, there's an Options-Doug chat channel. That's a great place to post questions, comments, and content related to the topics of my presentation and of the channel, which I'll go through in just a moment. And hello, Joel. Welcome. Glad you're here. And hello, Gray. Good afternoon to you as well. Welcome. Glad you're here. All right, I'm also on X, formerly known as Twitter. My name there is @DougPless. The focus of my presentation and the focus of the Options-Doug chat channel is options, order flow, the impact of options markets on stocks and futures, and the influence of market maker hedging flow on price action. I have a two-step process for trading, and the first is planning, and I use positional analysis. I look at how traders and market makers are positioned in the options market and how those positions change from day to day to develop a thesis regarding the expected trading range and volatility for the day, as well as a directional bias. And the second step of my process is execution. And I look at real-time order flow in Bookmap and real-time market maker hedging flow in Spotgamma Hero to confirm my thesis and for setups for entries and exits. Questions and comments are welcome, and I will be watching both the Options-Doug chat channel and Discord, as well as the chat and YouTube for your questions and comments. Please feel free to post, and I'll do my best to answer your questions. And hello, Don. Welcome. Glad you're here. All right, news items, economic data, events, and earnings for the week. My agenda for the week. I want to go over news items, economic data, events, and earnings for the week. Then I'll go through my positional analysis. Then I'll review some setups from this morning. And then I'll take a look at the live market. And when I get to the live market, if anyone has any stocks they want me to take a look at, please let me know and I'll be glad to do that. All right, news items, economic data, events, and earnings. So nothing really today. Economic data starts tomorrow. PPI data comes out at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time, and then the FOMC minutes from the previous meeting come out at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. And note that will be in the middle of my session tomorrow, and I'll stop whatever I'm doing and we'll watch the market, probably most likely the S&P 500. To see any reaction to the FOMC minutes. And then on Thursday, CPI data comes out at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time. That could be a market mover. And then on Friday, Michigan consumer sentiment at 10 a.m. Also, there are a number of Fed speakers throughout the week. And I believe bank earnings begin toward the end of the week. All right, so that is the news items for the week. All right, let's get started with positional analysis now. I'm going to start with the S&P 500. This is the ES futures and Bookmap. Before I take a closer look at this chart, I want to take a look at a larger time frame. I'm going to go to the SPX. This is SPX in a 1-day, a 30-day, 1-hour chart. And let me point out some items in price action here. This is the September 15th call dominated options expiration. the downtrend, that's when the downtrend began. A reversal right around 4,500, and price moved lower, and now appears to be consolidated and moving back higher around the 42, between the 4,200 and the 4,250 level. All right, let me point out some levels shown on the chart. So this chart is just showing price, 30-day 1-hour chart, and also key levels. So first of all, the lower and upper weekly expected move, shown with the dashed purple lines. So SPX did trade above the upper weekly expected move earlier today. Now it's moving lower. These levels are based on the options market, one standard deviation move. So 68% of the time, SPX is expected to trade within that range. That is the weekly expected move based on the options market. Again, should be available on any trading platform that has an options chain. And hello, Tony. Welcome. Glad you're here. All right, the dashed blue lines are showing the lower and upper daily expected move. That changes every day. Again, a one standard deviation move for the day. So 68% of the time, SPX should trade within that level, within that range. And SPX did trade above the upper daily expected move earlier today and is now trading lower, just a little bit lower it appears. We'll take a closer look in just a minute at the levels in play for today. All right, let me point out the Spotgamma levels. These are proprietary Spotgamma levels available to Spotgamma subscribers based on gamma weighted open interest. I'm going to point out the key daily levels. First of all, oops, wrong tool. Just clean this up. So these are the key daily levels. First of all, the put wall. That's the strike with the largest net negative gamma that can be expected to act as support. Not really in play today. And the next level up is 4,300. That's the absolute gamma strike. That's a strike with the largest net absolute positive and negative gamma. So most gamma weighted open interest today is concentrated at the 4,300 level. Just above that is the volatility trigger. That is Spotgamma's proprietary gamma flip level. Below that level, market makers' position on the gamma curve is negative. In a negative gamma environment, market makers have to trade with price to hedge their delta exposure, and that tends to enhance or increase volatility. And SPX has been trading in a negative gamma environment below the volatility trigger for quite a while. Today, it is trading above that level. So in a positive gamma environment, market makers have to trade against price to hedge their delta exposure, and that tends to decrease or subdue volatility. And then finally, the last key daily level is the call wall at 4,400. That's a strike with the largest net positive gamma that can be expected to act as resistance. And note that level did move lower from yesterday, from 4,450 to 4,400. So a shift lower in the call wall, that's the potential ceiling, and that is slightly bearish to have that call wall move lower. All right, so those are the key daily levels. For SPX, again, the only shift in level was the call wall shifting lower. All right, let's take a look at the levels in play for today. I'm going to go to another SPX chart. This is 1 day, 1 minute. SPX gapped up slightly, found support at the 0 gamma level at 43.43, traded up above the upper weekly expected move, also this combo level, L4 combo level, and also above the upper daily expected move. And now that upper daily expected move may be acting as resistance. We'll see. We'll take a look at the S&P 500 in just a minute and Bookmap the ES futures. All right, so those are the levels that are in play for today in the SPX. Now let's go to Bookmap, ES Futures. So in Bookmap, I have my cloud notes. I'm showing a variety of levels here. First of all, I'm showing SPX levels converted to an equivalent ES number. So today the ES to SPX difference is right around 33 points. So ES minus SPX is 33. That's what I'm using today. So the 4350, for example, that large gamma 3 level is at 4383 ES, 4383. That's the equivalent level. I'm also showing SPY levels on this chart. So here's the SPY 437 level that did act as resistance today. It took a while for the S&P 500 to roll over. And also this SPY 435 level was noted as resistance in the Spotgamma AM Founders Note, with the equivalent level around the SPX 4365. And so far, earlier today, there was some consolidation at that level. The price continued higher, another 2 SPY points up to 437. All right, here's the upper daily expected move for ES, and also the upper weekly expected move, again shown weekly with dash purple, daily with dash blue. All right, so those are the levels in play for the S&P 500. Shifts in levels, I talked about SPX, the call wall shifted lower, and for SPY, the call wall actually shifted higher from 434 yesterday to a more a bigger, rounder number, the 450 level. So a big shift higher in the call wall for SPY from 434 to 450. All right, so again, those are the levels in play for today. Again, this 43.40 gamma level, around that level, acting as support. VWAP also this morning. We'll talk about this setup in a few minutes. And then the SPY 437 level so far acting as resistance. All right, let's take a look at NASDAQ now. So this is the NQ futures and Bookmap, and I'm going to isolate the, first of all, the QQQ levels. Let's look at a QQQ chart. This is a 1-day, 1-minute chart. So here is this combo level, combo L1, important level. Around that level acted as resistance. That combines QQQ and NDX, gamma weighted open interest, into one level in an equivalent QQQ price. And then also here's another L1 level at 370. That is the absolute gamma strike. All right, so those are the key levels for QQQ. Again, 370, this 371.33 combo L1 level and the 370 absolute gamma strike. Let's take a look at NDX. Focus on today. Here's that same combo level converted to an equivalent NDX price, 15,200 L3 level. Let's just take it and see. Let's take a look and see what is right above this combo L1 level, the resistance level so far today, and that is the call wall at 15,250. That's also the absolute gamma strike. This is the level that I'm talking about right here. So the potential ceiling for price for NDX. All right, let's go back to Bookmap. So I've got those levels on my chart as well. In my cloud notes, first of all, here is the NDX. Let me draw that again. NDX 15,200, 250 absolute gamma strike call wall, and then that combo level just below that did act as resistance. And then earlier today there was really no clear support, just in this cluster of levels here. This is the point of control for the day. It has not moved up. Note all the volume for the day, for the session. This is the session volume profile, concentrated right around this 15,200 level and the QQQ 367 level. So there was some consolidation around this level, and then price broke out of that. I'll talk about this setup in a few minutes, and made it past the upper daily expected move all the way to these two levels up here. All right, so those are the levels for NASDAQ today. Shifts in levels, there was only one shift for QQQ. The call wall shifted lower from 380 to 372. So slightly bearish shift lower for the call wall in QQQ. All right, again, we'll talk about setups in a few minutes. Let's take a look at gamma notional now to see how market makers were positioned on the gamma curve at the beginning of the day. This is the number that I want to take a look at right here, this gamma notional for SPX, SPY, and QQQ. NDX is not significant. All right, note all these numbers are negative, indicating at the beginning of the day, traders were long puts, market makers were short puts, so their position on the gamma curve is negative, and this negative gamma position has been shifting higher and higher on the gamma curve the last few days. So these numbers are still negative, but less negative than the last few days. So I'm just scrolling through. So on the 4th, let's see if I can find the highest number for SPY. On the 4th, the gamma notional for SPY, October 4th, was 2.58 billion, and it is about half of that now. So again, at the beginning of the day, market makers' position on the gamma curve was still negative, but less negative than yesterday, less negative than the last few days. All right, let's take a look at the Vanna model now, and we'll get a better idea of what that means. So this is the Vanna model for SPX. We'll start with SPX. All right, what this chart is showing is market makers' delta notional on the vertical axis, price on the horizontal axis. There are two curves on this chart. The first, the light gray curve, shows how market makers' delta notional changes with changes in price only. And then the purple curve adds implied volatility to the equation. That's showing how market makers' delta notional changes with changes in price and implied volatility. And that change in delta with a change in implied volatility is the Vanna effect. And Vanna is a second order Greek, and that is again showing how the delta changes with the change in implied volatility. All right, let's take a look at prices now on this chart, and we'll see exactly what this means. So today, for the low of the day for SPX was right around 43.40. Let me see if I can find that. So somewhere between these two lines. So maybe somewhere around here. So what this is showing, and I'm looking at the purple curve, that as price increases and implied volatility drops, we'll take a look at a chart of VIX futures in just a moment, that market makers can buy back their short hedges. So when market makers are short puts, they're short futures to hedge their delta exposure. As price increases, implied volatility drops, those puts lose value, their market makers' delta notional decreases, and they can buy back their short futures. And that tends to enhance or increase volatility. What this chart is showing is there was very little put Vanna fuel left in the tank after the rally the last couple of days. So on Friday with the jobs report, for example, or the day before, gamma notional has been decreasing ever since. Market makers' position on the gamma curve has been shifting higher and higher, and there's less put Vanna fuel in the tank to fuel a rally. And let's see where SPX is trading now. 43.68. So that's right here. So near the bottom of the curve for the price only curve, and pretty close to the bottom for the curve that includes implied volatility. So both the gray curve and the purple curve indicating that there's really today, at least, there's no fuel left in the tank for a put Vanna rally. And what this is showing is if price continues to increase, market makers will have to start selling futures. This is typical of a positive gamma environment. They will be selling as price increases. All right, let's take a look at the Vanna model for SPY and QQQ. And let's just go back to SPX for a moment. And I want to compare curves for the last 3 days. So this is today. Let's go to yesterday. And note how the curve is shifting as gamma notional is decreasing. So this curve is very typical of a very negative gamma environment. Gamma notional becomes less negative and the skew to the left is less pronounced. And that continues today. And hello BOJ Landscape Surfaces. Welcome, glad you're here. And hello TK. Welcome, glad you're here. All right, let's take a look at SPY now. So for SPY, the low of the day was around 432. Right around here. SPY is currently traded up to 437. We saw that was the resistance level. So that's right around here at the bottom of the curve, indicating at that point no more put Vanna fuel for you. And then let's take a look at QQQ. Also a curve a little bit more typical of a not so negative gamma environment, QQQ. Low of the day was right around 366. There it is on the gamma curve. And QQQ currently trading, and we saw that high of the day was around 370, right at the bottom of this curve. So also no more put Vanna fuel for you for QQQ. And note, this works both ways. If price starts to drop and implied volatility increases, market makers will have to sell futures to hedge their delta exposure. Remember, at the beginning of the day, their position on the gamma curve was negative. Let's take a look at implied or the VIX futures, just as a proxy for implied volatility. So I'm going to go starting with yesterday. So this is yesterday in this dark shaded area. This is overnight, the extended trading hour session, and then VIX continued to drop, or volatility. Well, we're using this as a proxy for implied volatility up until about 11 o'clock, then continued to rise, then started to rise again. All right, the reason I'm looking at VIX futures, I think this may be a little bit more, VIX itself is looking out 30 days pretty much. And VIX, this slash VX, I think may be closer to actual volatility for today. All right, let's, so that's my preparation for today, planning process. So my thesis for the day, first of all, looking for lower volatility. That didn't necessarily play out. It's quite a trend this morning. And directional bias, really no directional bias. There weren't enough shifts in levels to develop a directional bias. So really the squeeze that began a couple days ago has continued. So let's take a look at some setups now, and I'll just let's take a quick glance at the S&P 500 for the SPX for the last 3 days, just to get some perspective. So here's this sharp rally that began last Friday after the jobs report, and maybe running out of steam, certainly out of put vanna fuel. So the squeeze may be slowing down. And let's see what the low of the day, low was around, right around 42.20. And trading now right around 43.70. So pretty big 3-day rally. All right, let's go take a look at some setups now. I'm going to start with the S&P 500. This chart is the hero chart, hedging impact real-time options. And BOJ, yeah, Tesla did go up. We'll take a look at that in a few minutes when I get to stock. So I'm going to start with setups now. I'm going to start with the S&P 500 like I usually do. This chart is the hero chart, hedging impact real-time options. This is available to Spotgamma subscribers. What this chart is showing is price for SPX and the hero signal, hedging impact real-time options. This is a combined signal showing options trades and market maker hedging activity for SPX, SPY, XSP, and ES futures. So if you trade any form of the S&P 500, this is the signal that you want to take a look at. All right, let's zoom in on this chart. And note a rising line indicates traders are taking positive delta positions. A falling line indicates traders are taking negative delta positions. So I'm going to, first of all, take a look at the morning session. And note I have had some difficulty with this chart zooming. So I'm going to take a look at the morning session. I'm not going to spend a lot of time manipulating this chart. Note from the open, traders were taking positive delta positions, and that leveled off right around, well, actually, Hero started to level off before maybe around 10:15. Price continued higher. All right, so let's go take a look at Bookmap. Go back to ES Futures. Zoom in on the morning session here. So remember, traders at some point started to take negative delta positions. That hero level turned down. So really the setup was a breakout of this consolidation right around VWAP and this 43.43.0 gamma level. Right around here, the breakout just above that level. And note that aggressive buyers start to come in. That's shown by the green volume dots. Those are buy minus sell, market buy minus sell. Green dot indicates there are more buyers than sellers. And also, as price started to move higher, cumulative volume delta shown with the dark blue line moved higher. And also the yellow line showing stop orders, buy stop orders, help to fuel the move higher. So here buy stop orders also shown with the on chart indicator and the small green dots. Buy stop orders fueling the move higher. So this squeeze, this short squeeze, buy stop orders have been fueling the move higher for the last 3 days. An initial target, primary targets at upper daily expected move, and then above that this 43.75 resistance level, also the upper weekly expected move. All right, so that was the setup from the morning. It took a little patience to wait out this chop, but price finally broke above these levels as aggressive buyers started to come in just before 10 a.m. Let's zoom out. And price continued on up to the 437 level. So let's go back to 437 level. So let's go back to hero. Zoom out, look at the entire day. So options traders got back on board around 10:45, and then as price was approaching above the upper daily expected move toward the upper weekly expected move, options traders started taking negative delta positions, and that really has continued. And price finally started to move lower right around 1 p.m. Actually started moving slightly lower right around 12:15, then moved sharply lower just after 1 p.m. Eastern Time. Let's go back to Bookmap and note some very timely alerts here. Give you plenty of time for to watch for a short setup. And watching for setups in the SP 500 does require some patience. All right, so here's first of all, this very mechanical, whoops, wrong tool. Just this very mechanical trend higher, the squeeze higher. Then resistance at the 437 level, making slightly lower highs. Then price finally breaks lower as aggressive sellers start to come in, and options traders again start taking more aggressively taking negative delta positions. So price was above the upper daily and weekly expected move. Now maybe finding support down around VWAP. We'll watch and see what's happening in a minute. So those are the setups, the uptrend in the morning, and then this reversal lower right around 1 p.m. All right, let's take a look at NASDAQ. And hello, Derek. Welcome. Glad you're here. All right, NASDAQ, very similar pattern. Some consolidation of the morning. For the first 20 minutes or so, then aggressive buyers start to come in. Cumulative volume delta rising. Buy stop orders fuel the move higher. And note the stop orders level off. Cumulative volume delta starts to shift from bullish to bearish. Starts to shift down. Same mechanical uptrend to finally a support resistance level that I talked about before. Then aggressive sellers finally come in just right around 1 p.m. Well, let's see what options traders were doing. So this is a combined signal for NDX and QQQ, just like the S&P 500. Let's zoom in. So net for the day, Hero was rising, although very choppy, rising up until about 11:45, 11:50. Let's see what traders were doing. So they were buying calls, buying puts. It looks like the put buyers more aggressive, but the stop orders and aggressive buyers in NQ, also the buyers in the Magnificent Seven were definitely driving price higher. All right, there's that. Sorry about that. That I did not. That's nothing I did. So looking at it's just some kind of problem, maybe with Chrome or something. I'm not sure. So anyway, options traders taking positive delta positions net up until about 11:45. Then that shifts lower. All right, let's take a look. Go back to Bookmap. All right, so I've already talked about the order flow in NASDAQ here. Very similar pattern to the S&P 500. All right, let's take a look at some stocks. So yesterday I talked about Meta, Nvidia, and Tesla, and traders were aggressively buying those stocks, aggressively buying calls, selling puts. Yesterday, let's see, I believe well, anyway, traders were trading Meta, Nvidia, and Tesla. Yesterday, same stocks today, bullish today. All right, so let's take a look at Hero and see what options traders are doing. We'll start with Meta. Zoom in. First of all, we'll note the key gamma levels, spot gamma levels. Here's the call wall at 320. There was some chop around that level earlier today. Then around 10:30, price broke above that level. Let's see what traders are doing. Let's just zoom in on this. So they were really, oh, sorry about that. I just can't do that. Anyway, they were up until about somewhere between 10:45 and 11, buying calls, selling puts, and as this hero levels off and starts to drop, in other words, option traders taking their foot off the gas, price moves lower. So price was trading above the 320 call wall. And that kind of call wall breach, especially early in the morning for a stock, can help fuel the rally higher as price trades above all those calls at 320. Those calls go further in the money. So Spotgamma assumes for a stock, traders are long calls, market makers are short calls. As those calls go in the money and traders continue to take positive delta positions, market makers need to continue to buy stock to hedge their delta exposure. So that can happen with a call wall breach, especially earlier in the day as traders take positive delta positions. That can help fuel a rally higher, and the price targets above the 320, actually when price broke above the 320 level, these higher liquidity levels were price targets. This is the heat map and book map showing a history of resting limit orders in the order book. Above price, those are limit sell orders. They tend to attract price. And note the main target at 325. Meta did not reach that level this morning, maybe trying to get up there again. All right, let's go take a look at Hero again. So before it jumps on me again, traders taking positive delta positions in the morning, take their foot off the gas, price finally responds lower as traders start taking negative delta positions, and now right around 115 they've started taking positive delta positions again and price is moving higher. All right, the next is Nvidia. Nvidia, note the target at the 460 call wall. And then here's the 450 key gamma strike. So price traded above the 450 key gamma strike with this call wall as a target. Traders were buying calls and selling puts. That's shown by the rising orange line, the rising blue line, both positive, indicating positive delta positions. And note this pretty typical behavior as options traders take their foot off the gas, the hero line levels off, so does price. And that typically happens right around 12 noon. All right, let's go take a look at Bookmap. 12 noon Eastern time. All right, let's go to Bookmap. We'll take a look at Nvidia. All right, so Nvidia was certainly, as well as Meta, certainly helping to drive NASDAQ and the S&P 500 higher today. Those are large components, especially Nvidia. Price sliced above the 460 call wall here. Then it leveled off as options traders started took their foot off the gas right around noon. and now is consolidating maybe between 458 and 460. Let's see what options traders are doing now. If we can get Hero to stay still long enough. All right, so they're still taking negative delta positions. So if I were looking for a long, I would look for the Hero line, the purple line, to tick up, to move up pretty decisively before taking a long. All right, let's take a look at Tesla. All right, so BOG, here's Tesla. All right, Tesla, pretty similar story. In the morning, traders taking positive delta positions, shown by the rising purple line. Let me point out some levels on this chart. Here's the 270 call wall, which was the target. Tesla did not make it up there. 260 is the key gamma strike. And similar story to NVIDIA. Options traders take their foot off the gas here a little bit earlier, 11:20, 11:30. They start taking negative delta positions, and Tesla moves lower and continues to move lower. So if I were looking for a long again, I would look for options traders that start taking positive delta positions. So let's go take a look at Bookmap. All right, remember for Tesla, let's see, let me make sure I got that right. $260 is the key gamma strike, 270 is the call wall. Oh, I'm still on NVIDIA. Sorry about that. $260, the key gamma strike. Very aggressive move higher in Tesla. You would have to be ready right at the open to trade Tesla to catch any of this. All right, so here's the 270 call wall. All right, 260 key gamma strike. Price sliced right through that level. 270 call wall. Tesla did not quite make it up there. Very aggressive move higher in the morning. Note all the aggressive buyers coming in. All the green volume dots confirming that move higher. All right, BOG, hope that call is working out for you. All right, does anyone have any stocks they want me to take a look at? Let's go back and take a look at the S&P 500 and NASDAQ now. All right, so the S&P 500 still stuck in this consolidation. Let's see what options traders are doing. Go to the S&P 500. So options traders continue to take negative delta positions. That started around 11:15. Sorry, wrong tool. let's just let's see what they've been doing today. All right, so traders, this is pretty typical for the S&P 500, are buying calls, have been buying calls. That's shown by the orange line, positive notional value, and note that activity really stopped about 11:15. Call buyers took their foot off the gas and then really started to buy puts, shown by the falling blue line, right around 10:30. So put buyers more aggressive than call buyers today. And net for the day, the total signal is negative notional value, 2.88 billion negative. All right, let's see what they're doing with 0 DTE. That's shown by this green line here. The green line is showing next expiry options trades, and for the S&P 500, those are options that expire at the end of the day. Today's there's 0 DTE options, and that's making up looks like a little bit over half of the total notional value for today. So 0 DTE trades a large component of the options notional value today. So let's go back to the total. So the purple line is showing all expirations. Let's take a look at, go back to the Bookmap. And note for the day that large traders have been selling pretty continuously, fading those move higher with iceberg orders. That's shown by the falling light blue line. Large traders use iceberg orders to hide their size. And cumulative volume delta has been falling since right around 1 p.m. Eastern Time. And note that the stop orders that fueled the move higher, these buy stop orders, this short squeeze higher, has started to level off really right around noon as price consolidated, then moved lower. All right, so we know that the put Vanna fuel has been pretty much used up. Options traders have been taking negative delta positions since around 11, I believe, and then large traders have been selling, had been fading this move higher with iceberg orders, and then also the aggressive buyers have turned into sellers right around 1 p.m. Eastern Time, and then the stop orders again that have fueled the move higher have stopped. All right, so really the question now is, will the S&P 500 find support at VWAP, or will all the forces that I just talked about help to fuel the S&P 500 below VWAP? Let's take a look at NASDAQ. So very similar story in order flow here. Large traders have been fading this move higher with iceberg orders. Cumulative volume delta actually started to shift lower just after 11:30, then more aggressively lower, and it has now shifted to negative for the day, shown by the shift from the dark blue line to the pink line, a magenta line. Looks like so far for NASDAQ, the VWAP, shown by the blue line there, is not holding. Let's see what options traders are doing for NASDAQ. So in the case of NASDAQ, the options traders really, they started taking positive delta positions right around 1. Then that's leveled off. Not really having a lot of impact on price. Let's see what they have been doing for the day. So net for the day, they have been buying puts, also buying calls. Put buyers a little bit more aggressive. Notional value for today slightly negative, minus 1.85 million. Let's go back to Bookmap. Well, it looks like NASDAQ may have found supportive VWAP after all. So maybe these options traders are finally having an impact on price. The options traders started taking positive delta positions right around 1. The activity leveled off. Let's go back to Bookmap. Now it looks like NASDAQ still stuck in a consolidation between VWAP and NQ 15,300. All right, high profit, take profit. Hello, welcome, glad you're here. Ask what is the meaning of the yellow dot and hero? So let's go take a look at that, and then we'll wrap it up. Let's go back to the S&P 500. So what these yellow dots are flow alerts indicating significant options and hedging activity. And you would really have to take a look at the Brent, the founder of Spotgamma, did a presentation on this a couple of weeks ago when these flow alerts were released to all Spotgamma subscribers, though they came out of beta and were available to all subscribers, alpha subscribers that had access to Hero. So let's take a look. These alerts align with the alerts shown on the chart. So for example, let's see, I don't know what might have some significant options activity. I think this is Lockheed Martin. Yeah, Lockheed Martin defense stock in play the last couple of days. So traders are selling calls, selling puts, shown by the positive notional value for the blue line, negative notional value for the orange line. Both pretty small numbers, but those alerts appear on the chart, also on the alerts here. Let's just take a look at one other. I don't know, see if we can find something else that may have a little bit more options activity. Well, not really. All right, let's just go back to, let's take a look at SPY. SPY, there are a number of alerts. I don't know if that's correct or not. S&P 500, more alerts. All right, so those are the alerts. They coincide with the alert shown here. All right, let's take one last look at the S&P 500 in Bookmap. NASDAQ still in that consolidation. The same for the S&P 500. Between VWAP and the upper daily expected move. All right, my time is up. I want to thank everyone for watching. Thanks for your questions and comments. And remember, the data for the week really begins tomorrow with PPI at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time and the FOMC minutes at 2 p.m., which come out during my session. All right, thanks everyone for watching. Thanks for your questions and comments, and I will see you tomorrow. Thanks again. Bye.